Good evening, Dr. Sue. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am absolutely great too, just like yourself. It's a pleasure chatting with you this evening, and I look forward to how we can share just the snippets about you and your background and experiences and all the things that link to your book. So
Always
this,
good talking with you.
thank you. So on this occasion, usually we do literary conversation, and this is the rationale behind wanting to chat with you to hear about your own book as being an author. How long have you been an author, Dr. Sue?
Oh, well, I'm not good at math, but I think the first thought I had about putting a book together was 2013. So the book
Okay.
would have come out 2014. So do the math.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what book was that?
It was my book called Ode to Miss Lou from the Soul of Dr. Sue.
Okay.
And I remember that only because it was aligned with my birthday. It was my 50th birthday.
Okay.
And I was wondering, I like to do something significant for my
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and not necessarily for me, for others, whatever. But I thought, my God, this is a milestone. And it really, really impacted me because I realized that even though I may look like a young 50, thank you, or 50
You
plus.
you do, you
No,
acted to
no,
do.
the impactful part of it for me was that my dad passed away at 45.
Sorry to hear that.
And for me to have made it to 50,
Okay. Okay.
was like, wow, thank you, Lord.
Right.
You
Right.
know, there but the grace of God, I could have gone to. So what can I do,
Mm.
to just mark, to put a mark on this time. And so as I thought about it, I've always written. Oh,
Okay.
Shelley, I've always written. Never thought that I would have authored a book. But thinking about it, we decided, and I was talking with a friend of mine who had recently done a book himself. And he thought, why not put your pieces together?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, maybe I could. And I just started going about it. And that's how spontaneous I can be. It was like the middle of 2013, and I'm like, okay, it needs to be out before, within that year, just started to think about it. So I started to gather who could, how much is it gonna cost me? I started to budget. I started to go through my pieces, and I came up with so many. I had no idea I had so many pieces.
So
So I had to
I
build it down.
I will interject there because you're talking about pieces. What genre do you write in?
Oh wow. It 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 it
You're a
it
poet.
encompasses all kind of genre because my style is to write satirically about
Okay.
real life situations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wherever I am at that moment. And because
Okay.
my writings, like I say, go way back, you
Okay.
will find in the book, my first book, when I put together, what I did was, having had so much writing, I put together like 50 of the pieces.
Right. Right.
And I love the idea now when I picked the book up that I had actually kept the dates. Because whenever I write, I have a tendency of dating the things
Yes.
that I
Yes.
write.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
because all the pieces were dated, I thought I would keep that. And I had to wrestle with the person who was helping me, the editor at the time. Why would you want to put, and I'm like, and now I look at it, because
Yeah.
there are pieces in there that were written way back when I was probably a teenager. And then
Yes.
there are pieces, and it spoke to that. And then more so, Shelley, to see how relevant they are today,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that
Timely.
was how it came about. So it so happened that 2013 was Jamaica's 50th
Mm-hmm.
year of independence. I was 50, well, and it wasn't, it 60, 2012 was there when they started, but it was that year. They were within their year of celebrating their 50th.
Okay.
So I decided, okay, I'll do 50 pieces, Jamaica's 50th. And there we are.
So you're Jamaican. You're talking about Jamaica. So you have some. I'm assuming you have some heritage
I'm
in
Jamaican
Jamaica.
by choice.
What do you mean by
I'm not
that?
just, I'm not Jamaican by birth.
Right.
I'm British by birth. My parents are Jamaican. And of the three countries that I lived in, Jamaica, the UK, and the USA, I lived in Jamaica the least. But Jamaica has my heart. So I say I am Jamaican by choice. Actually, I am a naturalized Jamaican. Yes.
So where were you born? Tell us a little bit about your background.
I was born in London, England.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're living in the United States now?
And I'm now living in the United States.
So you're
I've been traveling around. I was born in the UK. My parents migrated back to Jamaica. So I spent my impressionable years in Jamaica. And then I finished high school in New York. And then a few years after high school, I returned to London. I spent my early adult years in London and did my studies, became a woman in England and all about it. And then moved to the US. And here I am.
So you do have a flavor of the world, actually, if I might say so.
I
myself,
do.
because
Hear
how, yes, and the cultural differences in these many lands that you have lived, not only visited, but lived there. So that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and fast forward from your initial book that you wrote, which is called Ode to Miss Lou. And now recently, I know you just published, I think this year, a new book, and it's called, can you tell us a little bit about that book?
That book is called Living a Hip Life.
Right. So I wanted to chat with you a little bit about it, because my own book, we're authors together, and my own book is called GreenLight, When God Says Go. And that sometimes I know that people have different times in their life that they go through some stuff. So I thought it imperative to reach out to you because of what I heard about your book, Living a Hip Life. And it is in that connection that I'd like you to share with others. How did you come about writing that book? If we can just jump into that area of it.
Well, earlier I talked about the impact of my father passing at 45 of committed.
Okay.
3 years ago, I lost my dear mother, who, after daddy had passed, had become mommy and daddy. So that's all I knew for years on end. And when mom passed, it was part of my grieving process, I would say. But what got me to that place was that as we memorialized her, as we did a memorial here, we did a memorial in Jamaica, to hear people speak about her and the woman that she was, a lot of which wasn't, we knew, but I guess, for me, selfishly, I thought it was just about me. So even though that's the woman I knew mommy to be, I thought I was the only one that was experiencing it, or her children were the only ones that experienced that. So to hear others talk about that was really surreal, and it was here in the US and it was back home in Jamaica. And the common thread that went through as everybody spoke about her, the words that kept coming out was humble, intentional, prepared. Every other person that spoke used one of those three words. And I'm like, wow.
Yes.
And again, still never thought of putting anything together. But I think after the memorial in Jamaica, and we got back here, my cousin, who he led a Sunday school class at church. And he would often invite me to come and share with the Sunday school class on different topics.
Okay.
He asked me to come and share about mommy's life, just based on what people were saying and sharing, because he was involved. Yeah. So I had put together a PowerPoint then to take them through, the experiences we had, my siblings and I, here and back in Jamaica, just dealing with the whole passing and the homegoing and everything. And when I put that together, and again going through it, that's when this hip thing just jumped out of the page. It kind
That's
of
when you
jumped
got
off
that
the
green
page.
light.
Yes, that green light. And talked about it. People started to encourage me, oh my God, that's such a beautiful story. Oh, that story needs to be told. You need to put it together. You need to, and again, still wasn't thinking much about it. Prayerfully, what got me to do it was I was in the middle, or I had started writing my memoir, which was kind of a therapy session for me. And the only reason I was probably able to do it is because Mommy was my editor, because it's my memoir, very personal to me. And there were things in it that I know I needed to speak about, but it entailed
I'm sorry,
probably
I'm taking you
talking
back to
about
those emotional
people or
states.
situations that are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And my aim wasn't to harm people or to get people to feel hurt. It was about my healing. And I really wasn't
Okay.
sure if they would see it in that light.
Right,
So
right.
Mommy was my guide. So as I wrote, if there was something that was just too blatant,
Yeah.
she would say to me, can you rephrase this?
Okay.
Don't take away the
Okay.
essence of what it is.
Right, right.
But, it's a bit too obvious that.
Yes.
And she was the only one that I would have trusted to have done that. One, she knows me and she knows my life.
Right, right.
So once she passed, I'm like, wow, I can't do this. Because again, I don't want to hurt anyone. And if I keep writing with, you know what it's like. I don't know if you've gone through hurt and
Oh, yes.
healing, and
Oh,
you
yes.
just spit it out as it is.
Yes, 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 yes.
And I
I
really
lost
don't
my
want.
own mom, so yes, I do understand.
Yes. So at that point, no, I said I can't do it. I really can't go forward with this. And then I thought, wow, since everybody's encouraging me and they're so interested in Mommy's story and what happened, why not spend the time putting that together? And so I just did. I like, okay, I'm going to write a book called Living a Hip Life.
Right. And
What
I'm
was it
going
going to be
to
about?
Mommy's life. And again, I will connect back to the green light and the fact that you said you were praying. And then the pieces came together. Using your term, the pieces all came together for my member book. And I was at a book event recently, and I think someone had your book, and they really were getting into it and reading it. So this is someone who I'm sure you don't know either. It's in an area that you're not from, but for some reason we had the book there and stuff, and that's the connection, that when you sit down with something that comes from the heart and become a little bit vulnerable, that's how you end up reaching to someone else who might be hurting. I lost my mom, and a series of passings, including my brother. My mom passed, and then the following day my brother passed. And these are all sudden. So I mean, I understand. Yes, it's okay. I understand where people are coming from. And this book, Living a Hip Life, if you have a copy there, you can show. I think it speaks wonders, and more so, right, living a hip life. And the hip, tell us what the hip means again.
Hip is humble, intentional, and prepared.
And prepared. And you I know that also recently you published it in audio form.
Yes.
Can you share why did you take that step to publish it in audio form?
I did that because there was just so many different voices. Because the way the book is written, it's Mommy's life through other people's experiences.
Yes.
So as persons that shared at the memorial and stuff, I would ask them to share their pieces with me.
Okay.
And so those are the pieces that I put in the book.
Okay.
And having read it, I thought it would be so nice. It would lift well off the page. If you could hear it and hear the different voices and hear the different sentiments and intonation. And wow, again, prayerfully, the Lord led me to the right person. She captured this. It's a God thing. That's what I say.
Another connection again.
Another
all coming
connection.
together. I
She,
like
and
what
I'll call her name. I have to call her name. I'll call it in a minute. But she, and I was led to her, but her method had me thinking, wow, is this gonna happen?
Mm.
She doesn't know, of course, she doesn't know the persons, the characters, but as she went through the process of hearing from me, who was mommy? What was mommy like?
Yes, yes,
Who was
yes,
your brother? What was he
yes.
like? This person who wrote about her when she was at the hospital, what is this person like? What size is she? What she did? All those kind of stuff.
She
So
took
she
on
got
that
all the different,
persona.
she took on the persona of
Uh-huh.
everyone. And when I listened back to what she did,
Mm-hmm.
I could hear those persons'
Right,
voices. It's like she
right.
captured it. And I'm like, wow, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So my dear sister Sharon Gordon, beautiful
Okay.
anybody. I'm telling you, she's a beautiful person to work with, very talented. And if you need to go down that road, I would recommend her without reservation.
And where is she located?
Actually, she's located in New Jersey, but
Okay.
of course, globally and
All right. It's
virtually,
no, the
distance
lines
is
don't
no
matter
issue.
anymore.
Distance is no issue. Um, So
Thank you
yes,
so
for the
much.
persons who don't like to read,
Yes,
everybody's gotten into
yes.
walking now and exercising. Just get the audio, and just
Right.
put it in. And while you're out walking, it's an easy read. For those who know me and know me well, they know that Susan is not a reader. So of course, I think about that when I'm writing. So it's not
Yes,
a long book. It's not a
right,
boring book. It
right.
gets to the point. And so in no time, you would have listened to it or you would have read it.
And
But
I would
you'll get the
encourage
concept.
people not to listen to you when you say you're not a reader, because for you to have um,
That's
the background that you are a Dr. Sue, organizational consultant,
I
with
know where
that
you're going, but
certificate, then
that's an
they so
interview
you
for another time.
so on that note, as you've said that, I am curious about what would you say to somebody who wants to write their own book? What would you tell them when they're scared? What would you say to them?
Just do it. Call me. 954-648. Yeah, I like to encourage people.
Yes, of course.
Uh, you need time. Once you have to be intentional. Put it this way, you have to be
Yes.
intentional about doing it. It's not just about having an idea and say you're going to do it. There are things that are going to have to give. It needs time. It
Mm-hmm.
needs dedication. And so you're going to have to understand that you're going to have to give something up for a moment so you can pay attention to this.
Right, right.
It does take, it's good to look into it and see about funding, because
Yes.
there are costs to putting a book together, whether you self-publish or whether
Right.
somebody,
Yes.
a publisher takes you on. There's some funds that are involved, so make sure you have that.
Yes.
But it is very rewarding. It's not about, that is important, but I was going to say it's not about the sales and getting it on, but to have something documented, a legacy piece. I remember, think about Bob Marley and all the pieces that he had put together, all the albums he had, all of that. He didn't really realize the benefits and value of that. People didn't see the value in it. They didn't pay him the millions. He was all that while he was here. But look at what it is, how it speaks for him now. Now people see the value, now they understand that too could happen to that piece that you write. It's about the generations behind you. It's about feeding into others. It's about all that. But yes, I'd say if you want to write, go for it. There is no right way, there's no wrong way. Everybody's path is different. It depends on how you're encouraged, but just go at it every day write a piece. And you might not, today you might write the end, and tomorrow you start at the beginning, and next week you write the middle. There is no right or wrong way about
That's
doing it.
absolutely right. Being an author myself, I just write.
You just
And
write,
you
just
just
write,
write. Just get it out of your head
just
and
get
put
it
it
out.
out. And if you have, if I usually call it that I'm pregnant with writing, and
Oh
I've
yes.
ended up with many books as a result of just being pregnant with writing, getting stuff out. It's also therapeutic as well. And I
Mhm.
like your term that you use, intentional, because I think you have to be intentional about writing. There's a thought that comes across your mind, just like what happened with you. And the green light sometimes is there. And you know what happens if you're stalled at a green light? You can end up in an accident because someone behind you might
So
hit
just
you.
boom.
Right. So sometimes it wakes you up so you can go ahead and write or do what you need to do. But it's important, and I really want to thank you so much for spending the time to chat and to share about your book and the audiobook that is now available. Can you share where the our listeners can hear
Thank
where
you.
you can
Thank you for
get it?
having me. Well, the book is available on Amazon, and the audio is also available through Amazon, amazon.com. So you look for Living a Hip Life. If you want the book, it's also available on my website, drsueandyou.com. So that's DRSUE and IAND and the letter U, Dr. Sue and the letter U.com.
It's not easy to it's very easy actually to find it if all else fails. So of course we'll
Yes.
leave a link below so at least they can also find it. I really thank you, Dr. Sue, for sharing the time and for sharing your knowledge. I know you're always out there in the community, doing a lot of stuff and involved and getting a lot of accolades for your work and stuff. Congratulations on all of those things that you've
Thank
been
you,
doing.
Shirley. You're one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I thank you. I give thanks for you all the time, because
Yes, so thank you. I appreciate you. So
you
my name is
inspire
Dr.
me.
Shelley Cameron, and it's been a pleasure listening to Dr. Sue. As authors, we usually try to share something during the month of November, which is the Miami Book Fair month, and that's the option and the reason why we decided to share with experienced authors that others who are interested in writing, or some who may have written before, and have found themselves like stuck
Yep.
and don't know how to get past it again. So this is sharing with you how to find certain meaningful things that you can write about, like Dr. Sue wrote about her mom's passing and the fact that she collated all of those so-called testimonies from people who shared about her life and brought this book together with many voices. So thank you so much, Dr. Sue. We really do appreciate you spending
Thank
the
you.
time to chat for this short period of time. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you too.
Thank you.